Yo, what's going on, dudes? Welcome back to the channel. Hopefully everyone is doing okay. So today we are back outside Cupar Motorcycles because we are taking out the new 800DE.
Today's video was made possible because of Cupar Motorcycles. They have a great selection of new and used bikes, as well as all styles of riding gear to help keep you warm and safe throughout the year. Whatever it is you're looking for, Cupar Motorcycles can help you out. They also do nationwide delivery on all of their stock, including their motorbikes. They also have professional mechanics on site to help keep your bike in top riding condition. If you're looking for that new ride for the summer, pop in and see them. If you're not able to visit them direct, you can give them a call about any of their bikes and they'll have it delivered direct to your door. I'll leave all their details and social media information in the description below.
So this is the latest addition to the V-Strom. Obviously it's one of the adventure bikes, so it's slightly taller, so it's still something that takes a bit of getting used to, but once you kind of get used to riding them, they're not actually too bad. The mirrors, nice big and pointy, but it feels alright. So we'll go for a wee ride, talk about some of the specs, and we'll stop somewhere and show you about the bike. So my first impressions are very comfortable. Bear with me, my camera's just went off. It is connected with USB, so I'm not too sure what's going on there. I might have to chuck a battery in it as a backup. But first impressions, it's very comfortable. This bike has exactly the same engine as the GSX 8S, has the 776cc parallel twin, and it's about 84 brake horsepower, so roughly about the same power. Obviously it's bigger, it's heavier, it's a 230 kilo bike. The bars are super wide, so you know it's easy to kind of flick it about. It's got a nice big 21-inch front wheel, which is supposed to improve, you know, handling and stability and things like that, because obviously it's a bike that you can ride on the road like this, or of course you can go off-road with it. It also comes with the quick shifter as well, which is nice. You know, I'm liking the quick shifters. You know, they're nice and easy, they're fun to use. You know, there's no kicking it or wrestling with it to get it to change gear. You know, just tap it and down it goes. It's absolutely fine. I've never had any issues with having to kind of stomp on them or anything like that. They feel absolutely fine. TFT dash, the usual stuff. Now there is quite a lot of electronics on this bike because the type of bike it is. It's an adventure bike, so you might want to take it onto gravel, you might want to take it onto dirt, whatever. So there are a few different things that you can do with this. We'll talk about that later on. We'll have a good look around. Mirrors are good. I mean, they do what they need to do. The bars on this are really wide, not uncomfortable wide, but they're just super wide. But it just makes it really easy to handle. You know, to be absolutely honest, it doesn't feel like it's, you know, because it's not going to be. It's an 800 with what, 84 brake horsepower, and it's a big old heavy bike. But you know, it's not meant for, you know, screaming along with your head down. You know, it's not that kind of bike. You know, but I can guarantee it's got more than enough power to have a bunch of fun on the road. And if you were to take it off road, oh my god, this thing would be so much fun. The foot pegs I feel a little bit further forward, but they don't feel as far forward as I initially thought. They kind of felt almost like I was sitting in like a cruiser position, you know, my feet are like that. But it's not, it's just because they're further forward than what I'm used to. It makes me feel like, you know, my legs are straightened out a wee bit. They're not. It's, you know, they're in front of my hips, you know, so they're nice and comfortable. As for the mileage, you know, this has got a 20 litre tank, so it's got a nice big tank in it. It's saying 64 miles to the gallon on paper. That's the best you're going to get out of it, but you know, you'd have to be riding it correctly on the right day in the right conditions and all that sort of stuff to get that out of it. But let's have a wee mess about. Let's see what we can get at the moment. This bike's brand new as well. It's only got 140 miles on the clock, and when I started it up it said the service was due in 460 miles. So what, 600 miles roughly for your first service, which isn't too bad. Looking at the live indication of the miles per gallon, it's never really ideal, is it? Because it's like a yo-yo. You know, it's up and down, up and down, up and down. So I kind of prefer to look at the average, especially at the end of the trip, you know. It gives you a kind of average what you're getting. I think this bike will be absolutely fine for miles. I don't know what you get out of a full tank, probably 200 plus if you're careful. We're kind of hovering about the 60 mark just now. But again, we're sitting, you know, in slow traffic in 6th gear. Oh my god, yeah, front brake's good. And you know, in the usual V-Strom, it comes with lots of accessories, you know, the usual, wow, nice car. You know, you can get all the luggage, and you know, you get aftermarket screens if you want to change the screen. You get all these different things. You know, the crash bars, you also get the, is it called an accessory bar? I can't remember if that's what you call it or not. But it's like a bar that you put on the side and you can put lights and stuff on it. You know, if you're doing like the Ewan McGregor and Charlie Borman kind of thing, you know. If you want to travel across the world, you know, it's put as many lights on it as you want. It feels really nice to ride. It is super light feeling. I think a lot of people get a little bit nervous about big and especially tall bikes, don't they? You know, it's a big tall bike, it's oh my god, it's really heavy, what's going to happen when I get on it? You know, when you're moving, it feels like any other bike, but it's because of the width of the handlebars, you know, it's just super nimble. It's really nice. I quite like the colour, I like the yellow. I mean, it stands out a lot, doesn't it? So I mean, that's great when you're on the road as a biker, you know. This one does have a big brother as well. It has the 1050DE. It's obviously a little bit more powerful. It's taller as well, so that's something you have to take into consideration. But as for this one, it's about 855 mils, which is pretty much about my kind of limit where I'm happy to go height wise of a bike. You know, anything else, because I'm quite a short leg dude, you know, I've got short wee legs, you know. You know, so anything above that, you know, I'm kind of I try to get on the thing and get it off the side stand and stuff. But this feels absolutely fine, you know, I can get on this, no problems. Let's be honest, it's not a bad day to be in slow moving traffic. It is beautiful. I mean, the weather recently has been so nice, and for Scotland it's been pretty warm, which is also a bonus. So this bike has a few different modes on it. We're currently in mode A, which is the most responsive throttle, you know, basically full power output. Then you get B and C, which is reduces the power output a wee bit. B, I think, is like, you know, if you're just cruising through the town and stuff, you know, it'll be fine for that. And C is the sort of thing you maybe want to use on a wet day. Also got traction control, you know, the usual stuff with these you know, Suzuki models. You know, and traction control can be turned off as well. We're currently in mode C, you know, we'll turn that down later on. We've also got changeable ABS, so you can have the ABS on. You can also turn it off. Suzuki themselves, according to their website, you know, they suggest don't turn it off on the road, no, but you can turn it off when you're on like gravel and dirt and things like that. But the two main modes are mode 1 and mode 2. One of the modes is for the road, and the other one, I think it's like gravel or something, you know, so you can get the ABS to help you with like loose gravel and stuff like that if you're on those type of roads, which is kind of cool. The same as, you know, all the Suzuki models, the mode and the selector switch, you know, so it's nice and easy. So we could change this on the fly if we want. When we get to a bit kind of quieter roads, we'll mess about with the power modes, just to see if we can notice the kind of the difference in the throttle response. We'll go and do the little motorway test as well. I think it'll be absolutely fine on the motorway, you know, it's not going to have any issues whatsoever. And we'll go and find somewhere to park up, have a wee look about the bike. Now, it is Scotland, it is warm, so as you can see, there are a lot of midges. Yeah, it feels absolutely fine, you know, the little windscreen, even though it's not that tall, I'm not really getting any wind on my head. The helmet feels absolutely fine. Aye, motorway's a breeze, absolutely no issues with it whatsoever. You know, you could quite easily sit on this bike and travel up and down the country on the motorway, you know, and I'd be more than happy with that. You know, it's super comfortable. Let's go to mode B. That's supposed to be the kind of, I'm going to call it the town mode. There's a slight difference. I can definitely feel that. You know, it's not super noticeable, but the throttle does feel just that little bit calmer, you know, if that makes sense. You know, it's not quite, you know, it's, you know, there's not much in it, I'll be honest. And then obviously C mode would be, you know, your wet miserable days, which happen a lot up here, so yeah, you might be in C mode a lot if you stay in Scotland. I'm going to go down to a usual spot here down by the water, but I forgot it is a bank holiday today, so I don't know how busy it's going to be. If it's going to be super busy, we'll go somewhere else. Oh my god, okay. Are all these cars going down here? Okay, we might have to go somewhere else. This is a tad bit busier than what I thought it was going to be. The reason I like coming down here as well is the road's pretty uneven. Oh, smooth as butter. It's good for checking what the suspension feels like. Oh, I didn't even know Didn't even know. You know, off-road riding isn't really something that I've, you know, done before. I've never really tried it. I might have to try and find somewhere that does that, you know, just to go and give it a shot. Okay, this is really busy. I forgot it was a bank holiday Monday today. Oh, I just got a massive whiff of candy floss there, but in today's day and age, I don't know if that's candy floss or somebody vaping. You know what I mean? It could be somebody with their vape. But yeah, through the town, slow manoeuvre stuff, you know, we're still in B mode. It feels absolutely fine. I mean, to be honest, if it was me, oh, horn works. To be honest, if it was me, I'd probably ride it in A mode all the time. It feels absolutely fine, unless it was really wet and slippy conditions, then I'd maybe put it down to B or C. Yeah, C feels different. It does feel different. It feels like the power's been reduced. I can remember doing the last review for the V-Strom series, and it was the 650, I'm sure it was the DL650. And I remember saying that if I was ever going to have an adventure bike, that'd probably be the one to take. But I think I've changed my mind. I mean, if I was going to have an adventure bike, I mean, even if I was just looking for a new bike, you know, if I was in the market for a brand new bike, about that kind of 800, you know, I'm not looking for something that's got loads of brake horsepower, comfortable, do long journeys on. Obviously there's a lot of competition, you know. Yeah, I mean, Suzuki's, they've done a really good job with this bike. So there she is. She's bright. Apologies, it is Scotland, midges everywhere. But yeah, she's a nice bike. I mean, she is a wee bit on the tall side, obviously, but you'd expect that with the adventure bikes, but it's not too difficult, you know. Stopping at traffic lights and junctions and stuff isn't really a big issue. Obviously it's 230 kilos, so it is a wee bit of a heavy bike, but we just kind of stopped here because it's so tall. I didn't want to risk kind of straddling it walking backwards, so I just got off and pushed it back, and it was absolutely fine. So I'm not going to spend too much time in the dash today, purely because it's a TFT dash. We've looked at it numerous times, so we'll just go over the modes and the ABS and things like that. So I'm not going to go all through the settings again, because we've done that a few times. You know, you can hold up and it'll go through all the settings, and then you can find out how many miles to the service. You can also, you can also do this, which I forgot about, is the quick shifter. You can turn it on and off, you know, so if you want that normal clutch, you can turn quick shifter mode off, so then you can basically clutch it in and out. That's probably better for off-road and things like that, maybe. Yeah, and everything else is exactly the same. But what we'll do is we'll go quickly over the different modes that it's got. Got traction control. I've been riding about with it on one. It's absolutely fine. So 3, 2, 1 and off. A mode, B mode and C mode. I found A and B pretty similar. I couldn't really tell a huge difference between it. Maybe just a slightly bit more subtle. But C mode, I did find that the power felt, not a lot, but it definitely felt a little bit reduced. So yeah, probably for wet, miserable conditions, C mode might be the best option. Now your ABS is a little bit different to switch. Obviously with traction control in the power mode, you can just flick up and down and it'll switch it, and then you just press the mode button again to confirm it. Now with ABS, it doesn't do it like that. You have to, what I've found is when you touch it, it'll flash like that. It won't move. You have to actually hold it and then it will move. I'm guessing that's a safety option, you know, so the only way it's going to change is by you holding it, and if you hold it again it goes off, and we just got the ABS. There's no ABS on the rear, alright, so they've advised you not to ride on the road like that. Not too sure what it would be like, but it's not my bike, so I'm not going to do it. So we're going to keep it on ABS 2. I will quickly check the specs in a second when we go over them, and I'll check which mode is which, because one of them is for gravel, I think, and one of them is for the road. I just can't remember if it's mode 1 or mode 2. But that's the TFT dash. All the settings are exactly the same, you know, like the other TFT dashes. The only difference is we've got the ABS option as well. But I know a lot of the bikes that come with the quick shifter now, you can switch it off like I showed you. So maybe if you're going off road, that might be an option for this bike. Switch that off and you can get the benefit of the clutch. So as for the engine specs, it's exactly the same engine as the GSX 8S, obviously different frame and things, a completely different type of bike. The front spoked wheel is a big 21 inch, so this is more based along the lines of the kind of adventure, if you want to do that kind of stuff, but obviously it works fine on the road. 20 litre tank, so we were averaging roughly about kind of 60 miles to the gallon there, but we want pushing it, you know, we were just taking our time, enjoying some kind of very easy roads. So obviously it depends how and where you ride it, that's going to change. Front suspension is fully adjustable, as you'd kind of expect on a bike like this, so if you don't like it out of the box, which I've no idea how much has been set up, the way it is just now, it feels absolutely fine. The calipers are exactly the same as the GSX 8. Nissan calipers front and back, 310mm twin disc at the front, 260 at the back, you know, so it's pretty usual stuff. That's the exhaust, you know, it's quite beefy and in your face, but that's the kind of exhaust that you see on these things, isn't it? I mean, it's not a bad looking bike, is it? The weight is 230 kilos and the seat height is 855 mils, so it is quite a tall bike. It's not the tallest bike out there, but it is getting up there a bit. And your first service is due roughly about the kind of 600 mile mark, and they're coming in direct from Suzuki at roughly about the kind of 10.5 grand mark. It has got so many options for it as well, accessories, you know. Just for example, just looking on Suzuki's page there, you can get a lower seat, you can get a higher seat, you can get fuel tank pads, you can get an extension for the side stand, you can get the accessory bar, which is what we were talking about earlier on. You can put the lights on it if you want, LED fog lamps, you know, there's so many accessories, and of course the usual luggage and that kind of stuff. But it's nice, very nice soft seat as well, very comfortable. Aye, nice bike, really nice bike to ride. Right, I'm going to go and get this back and we'll have another wee chilled ride back. But again, a big thanks to Cupar Motorcycles for letting me come out and ride this bike. It has been a lot of fun. I'll leave all their details and their social media stuff in the description below as usual. Feel free to get in touch with them, Facebook them, Twitter, all that sort of stuff, or give them a wee bell. Normally when I do these reviews, I try and find things that are negative about the bike, you know, because not every bike's perfect. I'm struggling to find things, you know, that I can say I don't like this, I don't like that, and there's not really a lot, you know, there isn't really a lot not to like about this bike. You know, it's super comfortable. Yeah, it's not super fast, it's not a super fast bike, but that's fine, you know, that doesn't bother me in the slightest. Quick shifter works great, it gets decent miles to the gallon, it's got a nice big tank, 20 litres, that's a nice big tank. It's got all the gadgets on it that you want, you know, so whether you're going to take it off-road or not, you know, this will have the settings that you need. I don't own an adventure bike, so I can't talk for everyone that does, you know, so I don't know if you had an adventure bike, is changing the exhaust something that you would maybe think about doing because of the sound. Personally, for me, no. Why? You know, to me it's not that kind of bike, you know, especially if you're going to be chucking it about gravel and dirt and things like that, you know. The exhaust that's on it looks fine, yeah, it's a wee bit in your face, but it sounds fine, you know, it does what it needs to do. So again, dudes, if you are interested in this V-Strom or any of the V-Stroms that are currently on the market, give Cupar Motorcycles a wee call first. They will clear up any questions you might have about it. You know, I'm sure they'll be able to go into a whole lot more detail about these bikes than what I can. And if you ever want to get a wee test ride or go and have a wee seat in one, or just go and have a wee look at it, see what you think, stop by, have a coffee, look at some bikes. Well, anyway dudes, it's time for this bike to go back. I've had a lot of fun riding this today. We've ridden along some really nice roads with it, and oh mate, it's been so much fun to ride. Well anyway dudes, hopefully you've enjoyed this video, hopefully you've enjoyed this little review. You know, I like doing these first ride reviews, so they're not super in-depth, but I like the first rides because you know, first impressions are everything, aren't they? And yeah, good first impression. So if you like this video guys, give it a thumbs up. I really do appreciate every single one of your likes. And if you want to see all of my uploads, click on that subscribe button, ring the bell while you're there. That way you'll get notified every time I upload a video. But until next time dudes, stay safe, ride safe, take it easy.